So your senior loved one has worked their entire life to have a nest egg. You don't want it to cost you an arm and a leg or go broke in a nursing home. Don't go broke in a nursing home. That is the key with Elder Advisors. I'm joined by Larry Weiss, who is the founder and the president of Elder Advisors, and Steve Langdon, who is the legal side. He is a genius. He is a handsome individual.
I love every bit of that.
And Larry, for those who aren't aware and haven't seen you on the show, first of all, personality plus, impeccable dresser. He's a fashionista, but you're also an expert when it comes to saving and putting money in people's pockets, right?
Right, so you don't go broke in a nursing home, because the reality is you don't have to, Kentuckiana. So many people are out there operating under the nuance of the barbershop law, the beauty shop law. Well, you'll lose everything. You have to sell the house. You can't keep the second car. You'll lose your IRA, all that nonsense, and it's almost always wrong. It's well-intentioned, but it's almost always wrong. So what Elder Advisors does, John, and this is why you're the insightful leader of the community for television, John, and I dress for you. I don't dress for success. I dress for the good looks that represents on John Ramsey every day.
The socks impressed me.
Well,
just to let
it's
you know.
pink, Valentine's, because I love John Ramsey.
It works.
But it's not necessary to go broke in a nursing home, but you have to have the right skill set to navigate through that. And that's what Elder Advisors does. I'm very blessed. I've got 5 great people that work with me. And just a quick shout out to Autumn Schneider. So much of what Autumn does right now is placement, because it's very difficult right now. Because a lot of the communities are working under no admits right now. They just can't take patients. The world that we're in right now. Autumn's becoming very familiar with the protocols needed to get people in, because it is a very tough process for families when they're in a nursing, or when they're at the hospital trying to get to a nursing home. Can they get to the right nursing home? So that's the crisis plan, and we protect assets every day. For couples, we protect all the assets. For a single person, about half. But we want to do a shout out to David and Hope.
David and Hope.
Right. Yep. And I think by seeing the show today, David and Hope, you can understand why Steve has a face for radio and not television.
Really?
Right? Is that fair? Yeah,
really?
I think it's true. Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Hey, how about some R.B. Breathman?
No, he looks great. he looks like a G.I. Joe with lifelike hair.
He's a good-looking man.
He's a good-looking man. That's right.
He's a good-looking man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but stay on radio.
And genius. He said genius.
Stay on radio.
Genius.
Okay.
Yeah. But what's great about Elder Advisors is that there's so many different layers of that move to a senior facility that you guys are turnkey. You can cover all of it. And I was talking to a wealth management person who said, hey, things are changing. Marcus, thank you. Marcus Warren.
He does.
Marcus Warren, very sharp guy. And
he gets it.
What he said now is they really, really need to know, if you're an elderly person, you need to know all the tax laws that are now changing, and you're aware of those, right? You're aware of all the laws that are changing.
Yeah, because they change all the time, right? And sometimes what you run into is that you have local customs and individual Medicaid offices where the caseworkers are interpreting the rules their own way. And so you got to have somebody who can step in and tell them and explain, here's what the law says, here's what you got to do. And that's a lot of what I'm responsible for, is to make sure that your local Medicaid office actually follows the law.
Let's talk about the different layers that I referred to there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the legal side here. He mentioned Medicaid. There's the real estate side. You cover all of that with Elder Advisors.
Well, we do, and so much of what Steve has really been busy with lately is on the complete other spectrum, which is pre-planning, which is avoiding problems from happening. So that's a good segue back to Tall, Dark, and Handsome.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all prepared for the weather today, right? I mean, I saw people out buying ice or buying salt and buying milk and going to the grocery and all those things. You've got to prepare for a potential crisis in your future, too. That could be a nursing home setting. It could be just going through a probate, having to go down to the court and take mom and dad's will through the court system.
Or avoid it.
Or avoid it. You got to prepare for it. And that just means sitting down and having an honest and frank conversation that doesn't cost you anything.
Because as even Tom Brady said, Father Time catches up with everyone. So we can put it aside if you want, but it's coming. And what are the advantages of pre-planning, Larry?
Well, the advantages is get out from under what's going to happen. And just because it's not in front of us doesn't mean it's not going to happen, or much less be there. And the building block, Autumn, anybody from my team will tell you one of the first questions we ask families is, do you have power of attorney? I had a gentleman, Matt. Hello, Matt, if you're watching. He's coming in tomorrow at noon. He called me a couple of days ago. Both parents are in community. They're in a nursing home here in town. So I asked him, who's power of attorney? I don't know. I said, well, you better find out who is power of attorney. I started asking him questions about finances. I don't know. I said, well, you better find out. So, I basically was on the phone with him very quickly. We were in our weekly staff meeting. The law firm was there yesterday. We were going over all the files. And the conference room phone rings. And it turned out I just kind of answered it because that's the phone I use when I called Matt. I need to come in. So he found out my sister's coming. She's power of attorney. So he's coming. So you've got to have the power of attorney. You've got to have the decision maker, because I can't help you if I don't know where you hurt. And we need to have the right people people that are geared towards affecting these plans.
You both can address this. We talk about the senior and how advantageous it is to get a hold of elder advisors, but it is the entire family. I hear you mention sisters and brothers and people who are involved, kids that are involved. You guys deal with that dynamic too and give everyone peace of mind, right?
Yeah, and the family dynamic couldn't be any better than we've got an example right now. We've got a lady down in Owensboro. I'm dealing with Dan in Cincinnati, the sister Deanne in Cleveland, and Stu, who's really Adrian. And you've had to change the paperwork 2 or 3 times because of the name. Well, my name is really Adrian. It's not Stu. And he's in Winter Park, Florida. So, I mean, Dan has my cell number. He calls me all the time. So we're doing a lot of that. So it's not just, well, I'm in town. I'm concerned about COVID. And that's fine. We deal with that. We wear the mask and stuff like that. And we are having workshops in March, Kentucky. And March 8th and 9th, we're back out. We're doing the workshops. We're going to let the February weather go by. Thank you, Tammy. Tammy's doing great today as a producer.
She's on point.
Yeah, I wish Zach in production here at the cameras would be as good as Tammy. Zach, I said that because I meant it. I meant it, Zach. I meant it. I'm going to call Ken. I'm going to call him.
Steve Langdon and the entire team. We mentioned, you have the legal side covered, but it's also nice for you to be able to, hey, if I have to deal with the real estate side, if I have to, you've got everyone at your fingertips that brings it all together.
And I've heard you say this before. Placement is the 4-letter word.
It is. It's tough.
Difficult sometimes to get people placed out of either the hospital or rehab, and that's where David and Hope that I was talking to earlier today, and reach out to elder advisors and Mr. Weiss to be able to help them with placement. I think you're talking to him tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm calling him tomorrow at 3, and that's kind of the dirty little secret that families don't fully understand. Does that mean 2 minutes, Zach? Okay.
15
What's that mean,
seconds.
Zach? 15
seconds.
Call us. It's never too late, so you don't go broke at a nursing home. Zach, we'll talk about that in the green room.
You did that beautifully. See, I'm telling you what, he doesn't need me. He can host the show.
I need John Ramsey.
No, you don't. You're good. You're fine. All right. Once again, elder advisors, don't go broke in a nursing home. We'll be right back and find out what's happening at 2 o'clock. Wave Country with Dawn G.